Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm gonna be trying to post here consistently. This is the first video. I've been posting on TikTok too, so yeah, I'm gonna be going through a chest and arms workout today. It's chest focus. It's a great lift. Be showing you guys what movements I did. The pump at the end. What I did. I lifted, hit forearms and traps at the end, and I did my cardio. But I progressed on like a ton of movements today, and it was just a great lift. Carved up before. I had yogurt in the morning, and then before the lift I had some Chick-fil-A, so that was fire. But I'm just here, I'm warming up, trying to get everything loose, blood to the muscle, and just making sure everything feels ready to go hard on all my lifts. You got to be giving 100% in all your lifts and all your training. It's a new year, and a lot of resolutioners, a lot of people who aren't gonna stick to what they say they're gonna do. So for me, I really don't care that it is New Year's. I'm just year round. Doesn't matter what day it is. Doesn't matter if it's September, October, June. I'm gonna be going hard. I'm gonna be lifting. I'm gonna be eating clean. I'm gonna be hitting my cardio, and I'm just gonna be giving it 110% what I got. If I'm going into the gym not giving it 110%, then there's no reason to go. For me personally, I feel like if I'm not going in there getting maximum amount of gains, then there's no reason to be in there. But enough yapping. Let's get to the workout. So I started with an incline barbell bench press. Right here I'm just warming up, hitting a few warm-up sets. I did set with the bar, set with 65, set with 85, and then right here my top set is like 100 pounds. I'm weak, but last session I got about 7 reps with this weight, and then this session I got 8. So I train in 6 to 8 rep range with this movement. So I'm gonna be moving up in weight next time, increase it to 105, and just keep progressing. I did 2 sets on this. I'll be showing you guys after this grinder right here. I progressed on the second set too. Honestly, these 2 sets, like when I was doing them, I didn't feel like they were that hard, like I was going as hard. But like looking back, they looked pretty hard. Honestly, the last rep was a grinder. But I had a lot of caffeine before the lift. I usually don't have caffeine before my lifts, so I was like jittery, so kind of threw me off a little bit, but it was still good. Home felt good after these sets. But yeah, man, this last one was a fucking grinder. I have these reps all the time where they're like just take a while to get up. But yeah, after the incline bench I went over to a JM press, and I've been doing this because on like push downs and shit, I feel like I'm getting my back involved, and my back is like, ahead of all my other upper body muscles, But honestly, this was a pretty hard set. It was a 5 rep set, so I'm going to stay at this weight next session. But this is the first time I've done this movement since probably August or September, So it's been a while, but glad to be back in doing it, because I'd rather have a little bit more chest involvement than, a bit more back involvement, because my chest is pretty small too, so. Honestly, everywhere is small, but that came out wrong. But yeah, you guys get the gist. So, this last rep was pretty hard too. Actually, no, I failed on this one. I got 5 reps. I really wanted 6, but, you win some, you lose some. Just gotta go harder next time and recover. After the JM press, I went over to a preacher curl on the easy bar. And I did 1 set here. This ended up being a 12 rep set, and it was probably about 7.5 pounds more than what I did last session, and I got 10 reps. So I haven't done this movement in a while either, so a little bit of neurological adaptation there. But I don't know if you guys could tell from the lighting, but my hands were getting no blood flow to them. They were completely white. but that was kind of limiting this set, but I just pushed through it, just focus on my biceps. I try to get my heavier movements out of the way, like my incline press, my JM press, my preacher curl. Those are the movements I could load the most weight on, so I hit those when I'm freshest. Definitely progressed on this movement. Be up in the weight next time, because you gotta keep upping that weight. Once that weight gets easy, you're not gonna be growing from it anymore. It's just gonna maintain you. So, and us, we want to be growing, want to be getting bigger, want to be getting stronger. So we gotta keep challenging ourselves every single session, adding more weight, more reps, more intensity, and just going as hard as possible. Like I said earlier, if you're not giving 110%, there's no reason to be in here. You're not going to be growing as much as you possibly can. So yeah, and this was a long ass set, but it was a great set. I was definitely pretty pumped afterwards. Got a little grinder here. This wasn't even the last rep. I think this one's the last rep, but this shit was just great. It was great, honestly. Overall, the lift was great. The set just felt great, but on to the next one. After preacher curls, I moved on to these incline dumbbell Y raises. And if you guys have seen that Jeff Nippard video on how to grow your shoulders, you'll see that he included these, because there is more than just 3 heads to the shoulder. And, you got to do different movements at different angles to hit all those fibers. So I've been kind of integrating more shoulder work. So I'm hitting shoulders on consecutive days. I'm going light. These are kind of pretty hard exercise. So, you can see I'm using the colored 15s. But this movement, overall, it's like your normal lateral raise. A little different. Hits the front delt a little bit, side delt a little bit, but just hits those fibers in that area, that might not get hit on, your conventional shoulder movements, like shoulder press, side laterals, reverse pec deck, whatever you be doing. So just hitting it from more angles is just, pretty good. I did 2 sets here. I actually progressed on this movement as well. I was using the 12s last session. I got like 12 reps, and then the last set I got 9. This time I got 7 reps with 15, and then 5 reps on the second set. Just more weight, more tension. And, as long as I'm performing the exercise correctly, proper form like I am here, putting more weight, more tension on the muscle is going to be beneficial. But, you don't want to be lifting so much weight that it is just, not beneficial, because then you're not going to be putting proper tension on the muscle. After that, I moved to these incline dumbbell flies, and these are just, a great movement. I really like these. I feel like they hit that upper chest pretty well, and when I'm performing these, I kind of try and align, the path of my range of motion with the direction of how the fibers are on your upper chest, you know what I'm saying? They kind of make a V on your chest, so I'm trying to kind of align it with that, really have that mind-muscle connection, focusing on, contracting those muscles in order to get the weight up rather than just moving my arms to get it up, That's the difference between, people who grow their chest with these and people who just end up hitting their biceps with them, We're not trying to hit our biceps, we're trying to grow that bird chest, you know what I'm saying? So, progressed on these, I'm going to be going up in weight next session. I think I got 10. I actually got more reps on set 2. I got 11 on the second set. But on this set, I got 10. So that was a little weird, but that happens a lot with me. I'll be getting more on the second than the first, but, it's all good. Just means I took, adequate rest between sets. Definitely going to be going heavier. I'm going to be going harder next time, too, so. Yeah, that's kind of all I got to say for this first set. Shit took a while. this was a set that I got more on than the first set, but overall I'm just really focusing on that contraction, with the chest especially, that stretch and then that contraction, focus on both. I don't consider one to be better than the other. A lot of hot takes on that topic, but, I just try and get both and go hard as shit, man. At the end of the day, 90% of it is intensity and going hard and training consistently. There's little things you can do to optimize it, but, that's the really is a deciding factor whether you're going to grow or not. It isn't these little things, so don't get too hyper fixated on them. Just focus on training hard, like I'm doing here, there's things I could have done better. You could always focus more on the stretch, more on the contraction. You can always do better, you could always go harder, but you kind of got to learn that skill and just go harder over time, You're always going to be able to recruit more, motor units, I think it's called, over time. It's just something that you got to learn, and develop as you continue to progress training. The next movement I did, another one for triceps, it was the seated push down I was talking about earlier, but I did a wider grip, lighter weight. I'm trying to work on that lateral head, that outside of that tricep. I'm trying to get my arms wider from the front, so that's why I did this. It was actually a very long set. I don't think I'm going to show all of it. It was like 18 reps. Did not expect to get that many, but I'm going to up the weight next time, tighten up the form. And yeah, I was really just trying to get that contraction on this one and really just trying not to engage my back like last time. My back, it definitely felt less pumped though. Like last time it felt really pumped. This time it was more of a tricep pump for sure. But I tend to have that same problem with my hands where they lose blood flow, because it's I'm gripping the bar really hard. So it kind of just cuts it off a little bit, but, I just kind of just push through it, focus on my triceps, and never run into any problems with it, so, yeah, just trying to go hard on this and grow them tris, baby. Gotta get those big-ass arms. The second set was much like the first one. It was just way less reps. I think I got 12. Last one I got 18, like I said, but, just, yeah, it's very similar. Tried to tighten up the form on this one after that long-ass set, but, yeah, not much to say on this one. Just gonna move on to the next movement. Yeah, I just realized this is gonna be a long-ass video. I might have shortened it up, but, after I just did that dumbass shit before, I hit, incline dumbbell curls, did 30 pounds first set, 25 next set, but I like to have a heavy set and a more light controlled squeezing set. I think I got 6 reps on this set, but yeah, I feel like I got weaker on this movement, but I think I just ego lift less now than I did a few months ago, because I'm way bigger than I was. I was 125 over the summer, now I'm 132, and I'm leaner than I was actually. I did a mini cut in between, but yeah, no, this was a great set. The second set was more of a, like I said, control, squeeze, really put that tension on there, focus on the form. Every time I go light on this movement, it just feels so good, bro. The pump is always crazy on this. I always get, some fucking, other veins popping. And, honestly, this movement, as well as those preacher curls, are the ones that like really grew my biceps. I don't know why I stopped doing preachers, but you know, I think I started doing like unilateral. I was starting to get imbalance, I think. And I moved to cable curls. Those are kind of ass, so on the machine I got now. You know, so I really just went and focused on preacher curls now. Trying to get back into them. But yeah, it was a great movement. Pretty basic. You know, I feel like everyone knows this one, so I feel like there's no reason not be doing it. Next thing I ended up doing was hammer curls. I went, you know, just like I did the incline dumbbell curls, supinated. I did heavy set and light set. This ended up only being a 4-rep set, but it was still a pretty good set, you know. Really gotta push through those grinders, though. Really gonna emphasize that, because those are the ones that your body's like, all right, we gotta grow this shit. You can't stay the same, you know. But yeah, I think I ended up getting this one, but that was not even the prettiest rep, but definitely was great stimulus. These first couple of videos, I might be just showing you guys what I do, you know, my split and what movements I do, what workouts, and you know, after that I might start transitioning out the voiceovers to, you know, talking in front of camera, and overall just trying to improve videos. You know, if any of you guys are watching this, you know, just let me know, you know, if anything I could do to make these better. I want to do, and I just want to put out best content I can. Obviously it's kind of shitty right now, you know, but I just gotta get better. You know, it's like anything else you do in life, you gotta practice it, you gotta do it in order to get better at it. So that goes for anything in life, you know, working out, playing a sport, you know, just really anything. And hopefully I could entertain with these videos, but might be a little while until I do that. You know, I gotta get better at it. This is the last movement I did before I got to traps and forearms. It's this 45-degree cable Rodel pull. This is another one from Jeff Nippard's video. You know, if you watched it, you probably saw. But, you know, this one just feels really good. I always get a great pump from this. Put a ton of tension on that rear delt, you know, as long as you're doing it properly. I like to go heavy on these, you know, because, you know, I feel like I go heavier on this than I can like a reverse lat raise with the dumbbells. But overall, you know, I did 2 sets on this. I couldn't record the second one because phone ran out of storage, but you know, it is what it is. It's just me doing the other arm, you know. And I would advise you guys, if you're doing a unilateral movement, start with the weaker arm and then go to failure with that, and then just match the reps with your stronger arm, even if it's not failure, and that's how you're going to fix your muscle imbalances. It's pretty simple. I've seen that before or heard that before, but yeah, I've fixed, you know, lat imbalances, tricep imbalances, bicep imbalance. I fixed a lot of stuff, you know, doing that. So definitely advise that if you got a muscle imbalance. I usually do traps after chest and arms, so I like to do just, you know, plain old barbell shrugs. I feel like they grew my traps pretty well. They put a ton of tension on there. Definitely advise you use straps on this, you know, because I'm going to be doing my forearm work after. So I want to get full trap work from this. I did 2 sets, one with 245 pounds. I got like 12 reps, and then, you know, I didn't record the second set because I didn't have enough storage on my phone, but I got 10 reps with 225. So overall, you know, just great movement, plain simple. I be making like the weirdest faces ever when I work out, you know. You guys seen Antoine Sumter, you know, I don't know how he just keeps a straight face going hard as shit, but that's just crazy to me. But yeah, this is a reverse grip easy bar curl. It really works at brachioradialis, that top part of your forearm. And I've seen like pretty good growth from this, you know. I feel like my biceps are kind of getting hit more than my triceps overall, like total volume for the week. Because I'm doing these, I'm doing hammer curls. But they're pretty balanced. I think I'm going to try and really give the triceps maybe like a touch more volume than the biceps. Maybe just give them like one more set at the beginning, towards the beginning of the workout. You know, like another set on the compound movement, like a JM press or something. Yeah. This is a great movement. I really love this. I always get a great forearm pump from it. I call these Sullick curls because the first time I saw them, it was Sam Sullick doing them. But they're really just a kneeling cable forearm wrist curl. They work the other part of your forearm, the bottom part. I don't know what it's called, but really all you need for forearms is a reverse curl variation and like a wrist curl variation like this, and you're good. You can add in one of those like grip strength trainers if you want. You want to get better grip strength, but you know, if you're concerned about, you know, your grip failing before something like your back, just use straps. That's what I do. Fine. But you know, if I notice my grip starts to give out in other movements, I'll probably add in that grip trainer. This is the pump at the end of the workout. It's pretty solid. You know, I've been trying to put on some size for the last like 2 months. I think it's been working. You know, I'm looking pretty much as lean as I was like 2 months ago when I came right off the cut. You know, but the scale is up. You know, put on size, getting bigger, and you know, just really putting in that work and really just staying dedicated. You know, but got more videos to come in the future. I'll be trying to post more. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.